injection in Blackboard. So here we're at the send mail for individual users. That's me. I'm going to select myself, and then I'm going to do a really simple payload. I'm not going to do anything fancy. All I got to prove to you guys that I can inject CRLFs and that they'll be they'll affect the email. And once I've proven that, then it's very easy to from there build payloads that will send entire new emails, because using the rset command or by terminating the body, you send an empty CRLF, and then you send the body envelope if you want to do MIME, and then you send a dot to terminate the body, and then you let the envelope terminate. Once that finishes, you can just leave the connection open and keep sending additional emails through the same SMTP connection. And all the additional emails won't have all the headers that Blackboard automatically appends in the CRLF. So I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do, you don't need any kind of fancy or custom request sending tools. We can do this all in the browser. We're going to change the type from text to hidden, right? And then it goes away. And actually, let me show you why we change it to text. Because if, let's say I do document dot query selector, and let's select input name equals subject, and we're going to run this just to make sure that we got the right query selector. There we go. So now we got the right query selector. Chrome Nice highlights for us. And I'm doing this all in Chrome Developer Tools. And then we're going to do dot value equals test, and then we're going to do CRLF test 2. All right. And we're going to set that there. Now, if you look in the subject line, there's no enter, and that makes sense because this is single line input. And then what JavaScript returns is the same thing we put there. Now, if I do this and just don't actually set it, and I just pull the value off, it actually doesn't have a CRLF. So we have to change. It is required to change this to something that is not type equals text. So I like type equals hidden. And now if we run the same thing again, you'll see that it retains the weird ASCII characters that we're putting in. All right, now time to build a payload. So if you think about the SMTP body, when you're injecting, the first thing is actually going to be what ends up going inside the subject. And honestly, I'm just going to put a couple of these CRLFs and another thing here. And then this is just going to break the email by sending. It's going to terminate the headers early, because if you set a blank CRLF, then it terminates the headers. And so all we're going to get is a messed up, weird offset email. So let's do that. Okay. And I'm just going to leave the message empty. I could put stuff here, but I mean, this is just about the subject. And in theory, we could do it with to and from, but you guys actually have good email validation that happens on server side. So you can't really do it for to and from, but I looked at the source code of the version that you guys are using, and I actually don't know exactly what version you're using. I just know it's vulnerable. In fact, Java never officially released a CVE for this, JavaMail, or Jakarta, whoever owns or runs this project now, and so I'm trying to work with them to get a CVE, and I would appreciate your help in getting a CVE on this so that they can at least categorize this, because they did fix it, but they never really followed the security protocol and issued any kind of advisory or really talked about it in an update. And it took a while for us to even find out that they had fixed it, because it was just really poorly done. So now if I hit submit, send an email without a message, that's fine. Okay, so it sends the email, and if I go to my Gmail account and look at my stuff, there we go, instantly. Now notice that we see the intended result, right? So it says another thing here, and there is a CRL next line, but this is appended by JavaMail and whatever, and then above this we have those two CRLFs. That's what terminated the headers earlier, and since the headers are terminated, this MIME should have been kind of in the headers, and then it was supposed to set up a MIME type and then send the body that way, but that's not happening because we've done this injection. And we can do this all day long. We can try a new payload. So let's send a new payload. This time a little bit more complex, but still extremely simple. And this time the payload we're going to do, we're going to console document.query selector name equals subject, And actually, you know what I forgot to do is change this to hidden. Type equals hidden, and we're going to go back to console, and we're going to change this to subject line. Okay, and some mail clients, if I do another subject line, like I do, put another subject header, so like subject colon new subject. Some mail clients, new subject, they will obey the latest subject line that they see. And some mail clients will obey the first subject line they see. So Gmail obeys the first one, but I know some web-based ones will obey the second one. When I was testing with ethereal.mail just to see how the SMTP connection looked, and I think with my own mail server, I was having some cases where the mail clients would recognize the second subject as it, so it would get rid of all that whole labeling. And again, the same goes with all the other headers for duplicate headers. I think it depends on how the mail client is handling it. I'm not sure how it's defined in the RFC, but for SMTP. But I'm pretty sure that it's all about, and it actually doesn't matter because you could just terminate the message and send a new one with whatever headers you want. And so we'll just do subject line. We're going to actually change to reply to. And my Blackboard automatically, whenever there are multiple reply to headers, Gmail recognizes all of them and just CCs everyone who's on the reply to. So Blackboard automatically appends the reply to, but we'll have our own reply to here, and we'll do it, security@blackboard.com. Okay, so that's the new reply to, and I'm going to hit enter, and again, we're just going to check it to make sure that the payload is in there. There we go. And then we're going to hit submit. Oh, I have to select people. Hang on. I'll select myself, and then I'll hit submit, and OK. And now, let's see. Let's go to my Gmail again. And there we go. New Cybersecurity Club subject line. And notice how subject line ends, right? I look inside my two, and there we go. See, there's a new reply to. And I could add whatever headers I want. You can go to the and find that out yourself. But there are plenty of headers that can do plenty of damage. And I mean, I'm not even exploiting the full scope of this. If I sat down and worked with some timings as far as SMTP servers work, I could sneak in another message and make sure this message doesn't even send, right? So what I could do is I could reset the connection, right? So send the rset command, which is not at all complicated to do, and it's very possible with a CRLF. And so that will prevent this email from even sending in the first place. So after I reset the connection, then I can create a new email and send that. And so as far as the recipient is concerned, they won't even see one of these emails that is followed by a spoofed email. They will only see the spoofed email, and that's the real concern. And you look at this, right? And it's DKIM signed, right? Like this Gmail doesn't see any flags, and look, there we go, signed by Blackboard.com, right? You guys have DKIM signatures, and I think I even checked for SPF on FCPS at Blackboard. All that was working fine, and so I wouldn't be able to normally spoof these emails from just making an SMTP connection because you guys have proper DKIM and SPF. But by doing this, I get like all the security, right? TLS, signed by, mailed by, everything is kosher, everything is correct as far as the user is concerned. And so even if you have a tech-savvy guy who goes through and checks the DKIM signatures and makes sure that DKIM is working and whatnot, they still won't be able to notice that there was tampering that happened. All right, I know this is rather long and I'm quite verbose, but if you guys have any other questions, let me know.